Hey, what is up, guys? Recording another video of me just reviewing my gameplay, showing how I personally play League of Legends. This game is from like yesterday, so it says I'm Grandmaster, but I am Challenger today as of this recording. It doesn't really like mean anything, but that's what the game says. But anyway, this game I'm Aurora versus Talon. I'll start off just focusing on the game really hard. You might notice, first thing you notice in this game, I am Aurora, and the enemy's Talon. Now, Talon's kind of a scary champ, but I think everyone knows that Aurora is kind of broken. So that's my first tip to just, climbing solo queue. Just pick the champions that are broken. And a lot of times, you don't even need to like Google, like be a nerd, like what's broken. You can just think like, what champions do I not like fighting? Like what champion do you ban, for example? Like, just try picking those champs. Instead of banning Garen, why don't you just pick him a game, see what happens. But yeah, I think there's always a benefit to learning every champ. Being a one trick is fun, and it also has its benefits, but there's no harm in playing new characters all the time, right? It just means you get to play meta more, which is free win. So anyway, now that game's starting, you can see here, I like walked into the top mid bush and then I walked down. I was kind of trying to like fight him, just cause as you can see, Aurora is winning level 1. Aurora has a really strong level 1. So I figured even like if I walk into melee range of Talon, like I just did, it's like a fine trade for me. And now, in order for, like, I took a lot of damage there, right? But that happened because he started Q. So now that he started Q, like, he can't farm the minions, as you can see. And this is a really important thing about mid lane. I'm a mid main. This is my expertise. When you're mid lane, if you are a ranged character versus a melee character, you never want to push the wave. And same goes for the Talon. He does not want to push the wave because he wants me to push the wave. Because as you can see right here, he literally can't walk up for the minions. Now, if this Talon were playing more like, respectfully of me, like he knew I was a good player, not like trying to compliment myself, like he knew I'd play correctly, and he knew it was coming, he'd probably have like D shield and second wind, right? Dorn's shield, second wind. So at least he can like get the minions. Maybe he doesn't want those runes, but he does need them in order to last at the minions. As you can see right now, I don't know if I'll press tab anytime soon, but he has 0 minions. Now, this game has multiple challenger players in it, but the Talon just, it gets level 3 and walks bot and gets 2 kills. I remember this, because it was yesterday. And I do the dot dot dot, because that is a dot 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 moment. How did we just die to that? Anyway, that's a cheese. When enemy cheeses, it's okay. Now, what I do regret from this play, because I did ping it, right? I think as long as you ping the roam there, it's fine. But I didn't hold the wave successfully. I should have just stayed in lane instead of like roaming after him. I was like, oh geez. Like surely if my team is fighting, like I can go help. But no, they were just caught out. Now, I had a thought, but it's gone already. Anyway, I'm just holding the wave. Whenever the enemy isn't in lane, for example, Talon isn't in lane right now, my goal, like my thought process on whether I should be hitting the wave or not, is what will make the Talon lose more minions. So basically, how do I make as much ally minions die as possible before Talon gets back to lane? That is always my thought process while I'm determining what to do in the wave while in a 1v0. If that makes sense. I hope that made sense. I really hope it did. Because it's really important. Like, if there was a way I could crash the wave under tower, I would just do that. Because that would make Talon miss a ton of minions. But, I don't have that much wave clear, right? It's 4 minutes into the game. So, I just decided to push as slowly as possible so that the enemy minions can kill my minions. Basically, keep the enemy wave strong you know, don't like thin it out. So then, here I'll focus on this. There, always important. There, I ran up. You notice how I ran up? And my jungler was there? That's not like, whew, I'm lucky my jungle was there. Like, while I'm doing nothing, I'm like doing nothing, right? Like, I'm legit just last 20 minutes. Think about where's your jungler? Like, it's that simple. Now, Rek'Sai trolls here. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, just try to make the enemy lose as many minions as possible. And another thing about improving in League, this game is really complex, right? Like, I'm saying so much stuff. If you're listening, maybe, you know, you're like, whoa, this is a lot of information that I'm never going to use, to be honest. But, like, learn at your own pace. So, I think the best way to improve at League is just kind of, like, play your own game, I guess. Like, that's the great thing about League. You can just play your own game. Like, you know, I'm playing my game. This Talon's game is to just walk bot level 2 and get 2 kills, you know? Hey, if it works for him, good for him. Now, it isn't that consistent, and I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you enjoy doing that, but it's not very fun to do that in my opinion. Because, you know, like, what if he doesn't get the kill? It's like, well. But anyway, alright, I talked about making the enemy miss minions. Another thing is getting Prios mid lane. A mistake I used to make a lot when I was like Masters, Diamond even, mostly like Masters, right? Because the gap between Masters and Challenger is really big. Like, people like say it, but it's true. Like, I'd say like getting to Masters is learning the game. And then beyond Masters, it's like, you kind of have to sacrifice like your old thoughts about the game to make room for meta. Or not meta, but like, you have to sacrifice what you originally thought was the correct play. You know? Like, oh, that wasn't the correct play. That's just what was working for me. And like replace it with the actual correct play, if that makes sense. Like, you know how this Talon just roamed bot? He's like, gotta get the correct play.
No one is ever truly alone.
Which is to roam bot as an assassin. Well, that doesn't always work, so if he wanted to climb higher, he'd have to kind of remove that from his strategy. It's not like terrible, you know, I'm not hating on this guy, I'm just saying.
Thanks.
But yeah, there is so much to talk about in League of Legends. Another thing, oh yeah, the mistake I was talking about, the mistake that I made when I was Masters. The mistake I always made, and I always got frustrated. I was like, why am I making, like, I'm not doing anything wrong. How do I keep losing? I just keep getting loser's queue. And this is a mid lane thing specifically. It doesn't really matter for the other roles. For the other roles, it's more of like a late game thing. You won't like see it happen in lane. But laning as a mid laner, it's important to push the wave. Like, mid lane is not just a raw 1v1. Like, see, this Talon can never kill me ever. Like, he literally can't kill me. Like, in a 1v1, he is the only one at risk of dying. Unless I mess up, obviously. But, like, I'm way stronger 1v1, right? But that's the thing about mid lane. If this Talon wants to, he can just leave the lane and roam. Which is what he did level 2. And, you know, I know I sound like I'm contradicting myself. But roaming like this is just not a good strategy. He needs to roam at a good timing. AKA, he should roam when I'm freezing, or just like his wave is stronger in general. And whenever you freeze, you're like making the enemy stronger on purpose, right? You're like making the enemy wave stronger on purpose, so your wave will die. That's what freezing is. Do I win this? I don't even remember. Oh, I just ran out of mana. Anyway, you want to stop the enemy mid from legit just leaving and like screwing your team over, right? While you're just like farming mid, it's like, okay, well, you're not being very useful right now. You know, I would like play Veigar, and I'd be versus like Yasuo, and the Yasuo would just push the wave, and then I would catch the wave, and we'd both get the full wave, except Veigar outscales Yasuo, right? So it's like in my head, wow, this is a really good thing. But the thing is, while I'm catching the wave, the Yasuo is just running at my team. And my team could back up, which would be the correct thing to do. But oftentimes they just die because, they're not that good. You know, I don't want to entrust the game to my team.
Back to work.
No hate to them.
Spirits here still needed.
So you should try and just make the fight center around you rather than your team. If you're confident in yourself, right? It changes as you get higher rank and you can like actually have a good team. But that's like the biggest mistake I feel like that mid laners do in lower ranks, that they kind of don't even realize it's a mistake. Because it honestly, like theoretically, it's not really a mistake. It's just like in practice, it's like as a mid laner, you want to be pushing all the time. Like right now, I should push this 100 times out of 100, considering it's solo queue and this Talon's just gonna cheese my team. But I'm in like a higher rank, right? So I can like afford not pushing right away. Because as you can see, my team just killed him because him roaming right there isn't a very good roam. And then the Akali's just fighting me. Another thing that's important, this is obvious, but you should try and last hit minions, get gold. This Akali just missed like a whole wave just to hit me, and she didn't even like hit me for free. I hit her back is the thing. Also, this game was yesterday, so I still remember it. I'm like 90% sure this happens. I think I missed the cannon here because I start lagging and then I can't afford Rod of Ages. Yeah. And now I can't buy Rod of Ages. It's like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's another tip for mid lane. If you're like a mage in general, like a AP champion, your auto attacks don't deal a lot of damage. Just save your abilities for the cannon, because last thing you want to do is miss the cannon. Also, champions like Aurora, Jarvan, it's always good to like keep track of like, if the enemy has no flash, I should just Aurora ult them, or Jarvan ult them, stuff like that. That doesn't come up that often, because, you know, that's not that common of a situation. But if you play a champ like that, say you're a Jarvan main, like, if you know the enemy has no flash, just go ult them. They're free kill, just waiting to be killed. But anyway, you saw earlier, I didn't recall, like the Talon stopped my back and then me and Rek'Sai killed him. Like, my goal was not to kill Talon with Rek'Sai, I'm gonna be honest. I just stayed because I was close to buying Rod of Ages. And that's another thing you should think about. Like, am I close to buying an item? It seems obvious, and a lot of League of Legends things are obvious, but there's so many things in League of Legends that things that should be obvious end up not being obvious. So that's just one of them. You know, if you're 100 gold off of like a really good item, it's like you might as well just stay one more wave. You know, like maybe it will, maybe it will pay off, maybe it won't. If you just die and it was like, wow, I should not have stayed, then hey, at least now you know that next time just play it safe. But I know that I'm safe there. If you know you can stay another wave, you might as well just stay, get the item, you know? A nice thing about mid lane, this is a mid lane only thing. Mid lane is a really short lane, and everyone in that is a mid laner, like all the champions that go mid lane traditionally, have really good wave clear. Which means it takes you like 2 seconds to kill the wave. Look, I'm about to one-shot the wave basically. Like I could have done that better, right? I could have just like hit all the minions. But like it still gets one shot. Compared to like a Renekton, right? That need to like the Renekton would deal a lot, like clear it pretty fast, but he'd have to be like melee range and it'd be awkward. Mid laners are really good at just one-shotting the wave, and since the lane is really short, that means that the minions walk faster, basically. Like compared to top lane. Top lane's really long, right? To go from one tower to the other tower, the minions would have to walk longer than to go from one tower to the other tower in mid lane. So, what that means is when you push the wave mid, it's kind of more worth it in the short run, it's more worth it because the minions will go under the enemy tower faster and start dying, and then the enemies will miss those minions. That's just like what I'm trying to say is it doesn't take long to push the wave mid lane. Like if you're near the wave as a mid laner, like if you're in lane as a mid laner, you might as well just one shot it because you can, right? Like Talon W, it just one shots the casters. He auto attacks the other minions one time each and they die.
Once I'm done here,
Aurora
I'm
just
going to
one shots the
celebrate
wave.
with
Like
you and your
Aurora and
family.
Talon don't even have like the best wave clear, right?
I love
But
people.
it's like every single mid laner just one shots the wave. So it's just like extra valuable to know when you can just one shot the wave. Like if you're gonna recall, but the wave's right in front of you, it's like, hey, I'm just gonna one shot it and then recall.
The
Get,
spiritual
get
balance
like
here is
get the wave there, because if you do recall, you're gonna miss the wave. Because on the opposite side of the same coin, if you don't one shot the wave and you recall, then the enemy can just one shot the wave really fast, and now you're gonna miss that whole wave because they killed the wave so quickly. So yeah, that's the idea.
weaknesses can also be
One thing
strengths.
that's worth mentioning, another thing that's worth mentioning, it would probably just be like nice to hear it from my words, I guess. Golden experience. Like in general in League of Legends, you want to play for golden experience. Here, this situation, it's kind of like I know I'm safe for sure, right? But Nami is following me. I guess maybe Nami knew she was safe too, but I did not expect Akali there. Again, the Akali's cheesing. You want to play for objectives, right? This is what I was literally about to say. Golden experience, right? Like the goal of the game is to get golden experience, so you get stronger because you want to be stronger than the enemy. You get golden experience from killing minions, and you do get golden experience from kills, but how I think of kills are like how many minions did each team lose from the kill. So for
You might
example,
be afraid of ghosts.
if I kill Talon in lane, right, then I'm gonna get 300 gold and XP. You mostly get gold from kills, right? Like the XP from killing people is kind of irrelevant.
I like when it's quiet. I can hear myself think.
But you want to get kills like at the right time. Like obviously it's always good to kill people, but oftentimes like it's very easy to kill people. For example, say you're in a really easy matchup, like say you're playing a Kali, right? You're playing a Kali in like bronze. Maybe you are bronze, but the idea is you're playing a Kali in bronze. And you just hit level 6. Like Akali's level 6 is really strong because, Akali like dashes around everywhere. She just does your entire HP bar. So basically, if you're level 6 as Akali, uh, you're gonna just kill them. Like, they're gonna die one way or another. So, like that's an obvious example. But there are a lot of situations in League where someone is going to die one way or another. Like they are screwed. They're in a bad position. So when that happens, you basically just want to kill them at the right time if you can. Make them miss as many minions as possible. Make them miss minions. Make yourself get minions. You always want to play for minions.
Fear
I
is
feel like
fear
a
alone.
lot of the mistakes I see in between Masters and Challenger, right? I've said Master and Challenger, like there's a big gap. I feel like one of the big things is that Master player or Challenger players play for minions and Masters players don't. Like
Fear
Challenger
isn't
players are
superior.
still in this like PvP mindset, like I need to go fight something to make use of my strength, right? But at the end of the day, it's League of Legends, right? Like the, you can't like leave the game, I guess. Like it's a 5v5, right? Wait, what am I even saying? Like it's a 5v5
The team
on Summoner's Rift. Like at the end of the day, Everyone is still gonna be on Summoner's Rift. It's still gonna be a 5v5. Like, no one is gonna like win the game early or something. So you're gonna end up fighting the enemy
Oh, I've read about
for
this.
like no matter what. No matter what way you play League of Legends, you're going to see an enemy at some point. So there's no need to rush into seeing the enemy, if that makes sense. You want to just farm it out. Like, farming sounds boring, I know,
Will
but
anyone notice if I
it,
just
it really isn't boring. Like, farming isn't boring in practice. Like, this whole game I've been farming, right? But I have 2 kills, 6
makes it
assists,
interesting
2
for me to
deaths,
say out
and
loud?
this is not even like a very proactive game as of now. This game gets really, uh, like, what's the word? Like, active, I guess. Here, you saw I was like waiting there for Jin. That's kind of just an Aurora thing. Like, you can see, like you just saw me do it, right? Maybe next time you're on Aurora, you can do that. I was just doing that because I know Jin has no flash. And this is going back to the Jarvan ult, Aurora ult thing. Like, if you know someone has no flash, they're literally just a free kill. Like, just think of flash that way. If someone has no flash, they are a free kill. Unless you don't have flash either, then maybe it's hard. But if someone has no flash, they're a free kill. It's way easier to kill someone without flash than with flash, right? You can at least think of it that way. Also, I died here because I didn't actually know. Like, I wasn't looking at my screen. That's just it. I was like, wow, this Akali's trolling. And then I just died myself. But yeah, this game, I was kind of chilling this game. This game isn't very this game isn't very engaging. Like, I think it's still useful to see how I play if you want to like rewind a certain part, like maybe lane, especially because Talon started with 2 kills. You can see like how I play it, considering his extra damage and
Previous
stuff
actions
like
may
that.
lead to unfavorable results.
But I'm talking more about like general stuff rather than this specific game, which is kind of what I did last video, right? It's probably what I always do. It's just like more interesting, but like, I'll just talk about things and you'll see how I'm applying them in game. So that's really it. It's useful to, but yeah, it's useful to think of Flash as like, when their Flash is down, they're a free kill. And, you know, other side of the same coin, that
So
means
lucky they're not people.
if you can get their Flash, then they become a free kill. So even if, like, say you're playing Jarvan and you want to gank the enemy bot, but they have Flash, right? Like, I really want to shut down this Draven with Jarvan ult, but he just, like, my bot lane can't blow his flash. Well, you might as well just go bot and ult the Draven, so then he has to flash out of it. And now, you just wait for your ult to come up again, and he's a free kill now. You know? It's that simple. Like, League is so complex, but there's so many, like, ways you can simplify it like that. Like, I have Jarvan ult
Great home.
versus a
But
Draven with no
yeah,
flash.
very
I'm
lucky.
gonna go ult him. Or if he has flash, I'm just gonna go ult him. So now he has no flash, and then I can do it again. Ahaha! What a genius. You know? You always wanna. I think League is great in that way. You can kind of just use logic in a very like you can apply logic super easily. Like there's no like hidden strategy. It's just like, oh, well, he can't flash out of Jarvan ult, so or if he doesn't have flash, he can't get out of Jarvan ult, so I'm just gonna go ult him.
Beautiful balance
You know?
there.
And same thing in a team fight. Say you're playing, and this applies to any champion, right? Say you're playing like Garen versus, I don't know, one of the enemies has a 1k gold bounty. Like, who would have that? Like Zed? I don't know. Well, you're playing Garen versus Zed.
Heavy strength.
Well, then just target the Zed, you know? He's got a 1k gold bounty. This fight, you'll see in a lot of these fights with Aurora, I'm always starting with W and then ulting. I think that's just like the best way. I try to like W from out of vision, so then I'm invisible and I can walk into vision. This fight was unlucky. The Jhin is honestly so strong this game, because we have the Urgot ADC, who didn't do bad to be fair, but The Jhin is like really, really fed, you know? I'm gonna drink some water while I respawn. Alright, I'm back. Hopefully me drinking water wasn't recorded, and if it was, it didn't sound that gross or something. I mean, it's just water, you know?
Still corporeal.
So, I always like to build Void Staff over Crypt Bloom on basically every mage of this patch. I think it's just better. Another thing, when I build mages, not Aurora, because Aurora's not really a mage, but when I build mages, you know, Syndra,
I'll do all I can to
Oriana,
help you.
I don't know, Azir, whatever. Like, they all kind of build the same items later on, right? Like, Shadow Flame, Rabadon, Void Staff, uh,
Auntie Sante would like
I
it.
don't know, like Zonya,
Love drama.
Banshees, whatever. They all build the same items, is the idea. Like, there's no like, oh, well, if I'm playing, you know, Azir, I'm not gonna go Rabadon. No, you just go Rabadon and Void Staff on every single mage ever. So, you want to build them all eventually, and how I consider the order of what I'm gonna build is, wait, look here, again, I start with W while I'm still out of vision, and then I ult. See, the Jhin was like still walking into me, because he can't see me, I'm invisible. So you want to W from out of vision. It's just an Aurora thing, so maybe this doesn't help anyone, because no one's going to play Aurora, but yeah. Anyway, oh yeah, I was talking about builds. Whenever I build, I'm fighting here because I know Nami's with me. I might die. I honestly got really low, wow. But I knew Nami was with me there. So I was kind of like trying to bait. I can't believe this E misses, by the way. Look at this. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that missed. But yeah, when I build AP items, let me just say this already. I buy them based off of the components. So basically, if I have 1300 gold, I am going to buy Needlessly Large Rod 100 times out of 100. If I have 900 gold, I'm going to buy Blasting Wand. If I have 1100 gold, I'm going to buy Blighting Jewel. Because that's how much those items cost. I'm just always going to spend as much money as possible. Also, if you saw there, when I chased the Seraphine, like I chased him, like I'm sure there's a lot of people that wouldn't chase there. But I know that I'm safe because I have Nami with me. And I said this last time as well. You want to be proactive. You want to be aggressive when it's time for you to be aggressive.
I like when it's
And
fun.
you want to be defensive when it's time for you to be defensive. There, like, I can be aggressive. Like, it may not be easy to spot. And you might think of it as like a lot of people just don't know when it's time to be aggressive and when it's time to be defensive. So sometimes they're like aggressive when they shouldn't need to be, and it's kind of foolish. It's kind of like foolishness instead of, you know, knowing. But you should aim to know when it's time to be aggressive and defensive, so then you can win the fights that you should win and avoid the fights that you should lose. So that fight there,
I go
you
where
know,
my research
the
leads me.
Nami and me versus Seraphine and a Kali 2v2. I know that we should win that fight, so I'm like trying to play aggressive there. And it works out, it paid off. Here, Rek'Sai's here, so I ult in. He doesn't go in, which kind of sucks. Yeah, in hindsight, maybe like I don't know, maybe his like his tunnel was on cooldown or something. I could have dodged that last gen ult as well. But yeah, that was a good ult in my opinion. It just was not followed up upon. Even if the Rek'Sai like had no tunnel there, he was kind of baiting me into thinking he did. I don't know. That was kind of just unfortunate. It's fine. If we killed Brand there, it would have been huge as well, because, you know, Dragon solo soon. But one thing that I've been doing this game, and I've been doing it every game, uh, I talked about it way more last time because I was top lane. Top lane is way more, like, boring, I guess, so you don't have to care about, like, everything I'm talking about right now. Like, I've
Oh,
said
got that?
a ton of stuff this video, right?
Waiting?
It's all kind of like,
Okay.
it's like disconnected, but it's all like connected because it's still League of Legends, right? But oh yeah, I always look at my map, right? Like, you want to play numbers on the map. I said this last time around the same time I was talking about
From now on.
being aggressive and defensive at the right time. You want to be aggressive and defensive based off of where the enemies are. Also, here again, start with W and then ult. That's just how you do it. Like, for example, here, like, we win this, right? It's a 4v2, their bot lane just died. Be full aggressive there. Don't kite them, don't do anything. Just run straight at them. Kill the rest of them, you know? Like, always have that mindset, I guess. Like, we're winning, let's get in there. That's the great mindset that... Sorry, I just checked Discord and my brain lagged out. Oh, funny enough, in game right here, I kind of mess up. Talon could have killed me. I was honestly just like not thinking about Talon at all, because I'm gonna be honest, I just don't fight Talon that often, like on my main account, because no one plays Talon in higher ranks. I don't think he's bad though. I think he's playable. It's just no one really plays him. I honestly think he's fine though, especially if you're really good at him. But it can be really unfun to play Talon sometimes. As you saw early levels, like he could not last to any minions, right? Like, I think he got 0 minions for the first like 7 minions, which is how many it takes to level up. So he got level 2 without getting a single minion. Anyway, you can see I'm taking the wolf camp right there. You always want to be efficient. You know, if you got time to kill a camp, take a wave, you might as well just kill the camp, take a wave, right? Always go waves first though. Do waves before camps. And you want to do camps while the enemy wave is pushing towards you. And maybe I'll just do a video on wave management sometime,
So few see the world.
because I can probably explain it really quickly. So it'd be like a good video, honestly. Because I could like do it quickly and it wouldn't be a long video. But if the enemy wave is stronger, it's pushing towards you. Like the wave is stronger is the one that's gonna push. It's literally just like they're champions, but they're real minions instead. Like the stronger minions will win the fight and push the wave. So if the enemy wave is stronger, basically, that's when you can do a camp. Because you do the camp and your minion wave dies, not the enemy,
Would anyone notice if I
right?
just
So while you're doing the camp, it's the enemy minions that are dying, not yours. Also here, I'm kind of like baiting Talon by walking toward the wave. I saw like Teemo was there and stuff. Didn't really work out. Also, this Jin's auto attacks are nuclear bombs. It's insane. Did you see what he did to Urgot like a few seconds ago? He just one-shot the Urgot and he just one-shot me. Now, we are really lucky here that they died to the Teemo Shroom up here. I'm not sure if they could have got it anyway, because, you know, Rek'Sai's there, like maybe you could just steal it easily. But we are really lucky for the Teemo Shroom there. Their Jhin is so strong this game. I don't even know how. Like, their Jhin is just so many kills. He's just one-shotting everyone. But yeah, obviously like the end half of this game is a lot more, you know, nonsensical. It's kind of just like see what happens. Like, you know, late game is always like this. But hopefully like watching me play late game can if someone's watching this,
that
maybe
was,
they can just see what I do.
but I won't let this be
Maybe you guys already do what I do and you're seeing me play late game like this and you're like, "No, so I'm doing it right." Or maybe you see I do something different than you, and you know, it could be better than me, it could be worse than me. I'm not gonna say what's better,
very interesting.
but you can just see how we play different, you know. Here, I know Talon could run to me, so I'm making sure to keep my W up, because Talon could technically run to me. This is a thing that will happen a lot. And if you're the Talon in this situation, you should do this. Like, it doesn't matter how far away someone is. If you're an assassin, like your champ is designed to run across half of the map, let's be honest. So he should just be running over to me. I have Zonius as well though. I do these Krugs here. I got the wave and did Krugs with the goal of buying Zonius. So I have enough money to buy Zonius now. Now my team fights, and I think like live, I'm like, wait, we're fighting right now? Because I was like pinging them all fight. but we end up fighting. Now, luckily, my team is not that bad. They fight because it's kind of a winning fight. But, you know, I wish I could have bought Zonia, but it ends up not mattering.
Enough of that, thank you.
This Jhin is so strong, it's unreal. Like, we legit just can't get near him. We have Soul though, so as always in a late game scenario, this is obvious. What I'm about to say is so obvious, but people don't do it. I press tab, I see, okay, the Baron Nashor is alive. The Elder Dragon is spawning in an hour, in a minute or something. I don't know. Something like that. Or I don't know when it's, yeah, a minute. So, using this information, there is one objective alive on the map. There's only one objective. It's Baron.
Find
If
yourself
either
saying,
team gets Baron,
"What's your
they're
turn?"
going to win the game. So you need to play the game like that. Play the game as if you can make your team get Baron, you're going to win the game. Or if Elder's spawning in 1 minute, if you can make your team get Elder, you're going to win the game. Now Baron and Elder, they're like
I should write home.
one is not necessarily
Though I
better than
can't
the
help
other.
but
I
feel
think
worse.
this game I'd prefer to have Elder probably just because this is so fist fighty, right? But you know, we're all fighting over Elder. Okay, so now Baron is out of the question. Like, there's basically only one objective up on the map and right now, and it's Elder,
I'm quite
right?
happy I am helping.
So I make sure mid is pushed, just because, you know, I might as well. Like, we're not losing anything by me clearing this wave. Same with Talon. Like, it's not like the enemy team needs Talon to be, like, holding their hand. So we're just killing the wave. I'm like looking for a flank. I have Zonias as well, so like me getting a flank could be huge, right? It's kind of hard to like understand how to team fight, I'm gonna be honest, so I can't really explain it. But just like try and think of what your champion wants to do. How I think of team fighting is how can I deal damage without taking damage? Like what makes me deal the most damage and take the least damage? And sometimes if you're like Ornn or a tank or something, right? You play a tank, you want to be the one taking damage, so then your team isn't the one taking damage. So it all depends, right? But that's in general how I think of team fighting. Even as a tank, you want to be dealing damage without taking it. You know, one thing that could, a mistake you can make as a tank in that sense, in a team fight, is you take damage in a way that doesn't let your team deal damage in exchange. So basically, if you're a tank, be near your team. So if they hit you, the enemy hits you, right? Your team can hit them back.
I'll do
And
anything.
that's really the idea. So basically, just in the grand scheme of things, you want to take damage. I mean, you want to deal damage without taking it. Because, you know, if you think about it, if you deal damage to the enemies, if you deal enough damage, they'll die. And then you can win the team fight. You know, that's the goal. So always play like that. Just play to deal damage without taking it. Now, I can't really explain team fights. The team fight we just had, uh, it's really complex. I could probably talk about that one team fight for at least 10 minutes if I had to. That's the beautiful thing about League. Like everything has so much like thought behind it. Even if you don't like think about it, like I don't actively think about it, right? I'm just like, okay, I want to hit my ult on 3 target, like I want to hit my ult on as many people as possible. You deal a ton of damage, right? Like that's what Aurora wants to do. If I'm Urgot that game, I'm like, okay, I want to land E on someone, land my ult as well. But yeah, just try to deal damage, don't take damage. That's how I team fight. I feel like this game had a lot of fights. Hopefully this video gave you guys like insight into how I play the game. I didn't really like go crazy this game or like 1v9 or anything. I think I just played the average solo queue game for me, and I hope it helped you guys, and thanks for watching, and see you next time. Also, if you guys have any questions, you can comment it if you want. I'll be more than happy to answer it. The reason I'm making these videos is because I enjoy talking about League. So I hope it can help you guys, and I'll just keep making them because I find these really fun. They're definitely like my greatest idea as of late. You know, I like talking about League, so I'll just put them in videos. You know, even if one person watches it, it's worth it. So thanks for watching again, and you know, hope your games go well.